I was the coordinator for a study abroad program for students for Japan, from Japan. And I remember that we had been talking to the students had done a lesson. They were taking like an American history course, basically. And they had done a lesson, I believe it was when they did the Civil War lesson, although it might have been the Civil Rights Movement. I don't remember. Now, I had the position I did in that department basically because there was nobody else in that department who spoke Japanese, nobody else who could operate in that linguistic and social cultural context. So they needed somebody because oftentimes the students came with pretty low proficiency.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, makes sense, right? And I remember there were a group of students came into my office and they're like, Michael, we are really confused by this lesson that we've learned. And it just, I think I understand it, but I don't know if I understand it. So I said, you know what? All y'all come in. We're going to replay the last 30 minutes of class, but we're going to do it in Japanese. And I'm going to give you examples that make sense for things you know about. And we did it. And one of the students came up to me afterward and said, I feel like I finally understand this for the first time. And I'm like, whoa. How many people are taking classes like this, going to trainings like this, taking workshops like this, and they walk out feeling like, I feel like I get it, but I'm not sure. And then feeling all those feelings about not being sure about if they get it or not. When what we could be doing, if we were paying attention, is speaking to them metaphorically and literally in their language, from their context, with consciousness of their background, and breaking it down for them in a way that made sense to them. And then they walk away going, now I understand it. Now I see why this is important. Now I see why America went through what it did. Now I see how this works in Japan. And I'm going to know to look out for its manifestations in Japan. Because if I'm going to Japan and I'm looking out for anti-Black racism all over the place, I'm sorry, there's not enough of us in Japan to have that much of a, and I'm not saying anti-Black racism doesn't exist in Japan, but what I'm saying is that in terms of being this really pervasive and pernicious societal thing, there's just simply not the population there for that. However, if we are talking about the former, in the old system, the lower class or lower caste people, or if we're talking about people of ethnic Korean or ethnic Chinese descent who were brought over as indentured servants during the time of the Japanese Empire in the early 20th century. Now, that's where we really need to talk about some diversity and inclusion and equity stuff, because that's a very live issue for Japan, right? So break it down like that, and I'm going to find lots of opportunities to operationalize these lessons about diversity that I've been learning. But if I'm just focusing on what happened to Ruby Bridges, as important as that is, and as crucial as that is from the American perspective, and it is absolutely, and more people should learn about it in the US, I'm not speaking to the Japanese reality.
Yeah.